estrogen doesn't affect your voice. You have to do voice training to make it higher. And I tried that, and I wasn't very good at it. I got into my first lesson, and I was like, this is too much like musical theater. I can't do this. Very beginning of the first lesson, she goes, repeat after me. I was like, cut it, I can't. I quit. My neighbors already know I'm trans. I can't have them thinking that I do a cappella.
Yeah, that's not funny.
All right, sorry. I tried to cut that first clip short as to not torture you guys too much with this so-called woke comedy. But that reminded me of a clip I played in a video last week where a woke comedian was telling jokes and the same thing happened. The audience was cracking up. Why? That shit's not funny. Yet they try to cancel real comedians like Dave Chappelle. Anyway, welcome back. Thank you guys so much for joining me. So I have a fairly quick and very crazy Clown World update for you guys today. And as usual, we have absolutely no time to waste. So let's get into it. Now, if you place your attention on the screen for a moment. So this post is sort of relevant to that first fellow we heard talking about his feminine voice. Now, this is Steffi. Steffi is a biological man who identifies as a trans woman and calls himself a lesbian. Steffi posted this photo with the caption, "Can anyone offer me practical advice on how to learn a feminine voice? I absolutely hate my male voice." Here's the good part. "It's my only giveaway that I am a trans woman." What?
What the f***? What the f*** is wrong with you? What the f*** is wrong with you?
Let's keep this party rolling with a fairly reasonable rant from Hollywood actor and proud New Yorker Michael Rapaport. Wow, it feels weird to say that. But listen, I'm sure most of you at this point have either seen the video or heard about the two NYPD officers that were recently jumped by a group of illegals. It's stuff like that that is causing shitlibs like Michael Rapaport to keep the option of voting for Pig Dick Donald Trump on the table. That's what he calls him. Anyway, all the bleeps and stuff were done ahead of time in this video. I had nothing to do with that, so enjoy. Roll it.
This is why when I say voting for Pig Donald Trump is on the table, voting for Pig Donald Trump is on the table. The other day in New York City, 6 illegal aliens jumped a New York City cop, NYPD's finest. They jumped a New York City cop in Times Square and were arrested and released without bail. I know it's a city thing. I know it's a state thing. I know all that. I know all that. Okay? Stay with me. Released without bail. Came out of the courtroom on some Tupac raising the middle finger with the Detroit Red Wings jersey. Let me tell you something. What the f*** is the world coming to? If you could be from another country, beat up a cop in New York City, and walk out with no bail, what the f*** is the world coming to? What the f*** is the world coming to? I know, Mayor Adams, you're from Brownsville, Brooklyn. I know this like, what the f*** have I gotten myself into? Stay with me. Maybe my city is not the greatest city on earth anymore. If you could beat up cops, in the quote-unquote greatest city in the world and be released without bail, are we the greatest city on earth? Cadaver Joe Biden, we see you. We see you. Don't worry about those in Israel. Bibi got them. Israel will take care of them. Worry about cops getting beat up in Times Square and walking out with no bail like the Tupac Shakur. Worry about that shit. This is why voting for Pig Donald Trump is still on the table.
Oh my goodness. That's the most badass thing I've ever heard.
Now, let's not get it twisted. Michael Rapaport will still make a TikTok next week calling Pig Dick Donald Trump a dictator and a fascist because he's a shitlib at heart. However, I think when it comes time to hit that ballot box, he ain't going to be putting a check mark next to Cadaver Joe's name this year. Anyway, next up, so some of you may remember this. very condescending and self-hating white liberal woman from yesterday's video where she was calling other white people milk crickets. Well, apparently she took that video down, and here's her explanation for that. Roll it.
Let's chat. Do you know what a milk cricket is? I do. You want to know how I know what it is? I went to Urban Dictionary and looked it up. And what I found was not surprising. However, it was most certainly some white people shit. So it is absolutely appropriate for me, a white person, to call other white people milk crickets. Now, I will give their dues where they are due. I didn't come up with that term. That is a term that is on one of the many lists on the internet of all the names that white people have been given. Yeah, like cauliflower crusader, you know, all of those lists. That's where milk cricket is from, okay? So thank you to the people who are, you know, creating and curating those lists. Those are great names. Now, something else that we need to talk about. You're gonna notice that my original video where I asked white people not to ruin Black History Month has been taken down. The reason that I took it down is because I got a little bit of feedback from some people who matter that said, hey, you may have missed the mark on this video. I don't know if you should leave it up. So I chose to take it down. But if you've been paying attention, I'm still trending on Twitter. So you can find the video there.
What a bitch.
All right, next up we have another clip from the Cackling Hens on The View. Now, this clip is just proof, as if we really needed any more proof, but this clip is proof that this show is simply establishment propaganda. These women just spew establishment talking points. Now, Ana Navarro says that Joe Biden looks good and sounds good and our economy's good, so basically she's telling us not to believe our eyes and ears. That's it. That's it. Roll it.
Tuesday, he was in Miami doing an event, and the host of the event invited me to come. And I wanted to go see him because we hear so much that he's like on his deathbed and he's like, so frail. So I was like, okay, let me go see what Joe's looking like. And Joe's looking good. And Joe's sounding good. Yeah. And Joe's ready for a fight. And what he kept calling Trump is what I think Trump hates the most: loser. And he, in fact, is a loser. He lost the election. He lost in court. But I'll tell you what happened today that I think we should highlight. We got 353,000 jobs added to the economy in January, nearly twice as many as was the median forecast. The unemployment is 3.7, and wages are up sharply at 4.5.
And gas
so you know
is down,
what?
By the way,
that is a big
deal.
What did you say? What the did you just say?
Joe's looking good, and Joe's sounding good, and Joe's ready for a fight.
Fucking liar!
So this next clip pretty much sums up everything that's wrong with this country and why our society is on the verge of collapse. So this young lady who is morbidly obese paid $38 for that sandwich. What made it so expensive? The flaming hot Cheetos? Then she proceeds to shovel it down her throat as she records herself doing so, then uploads it on the interwebs for everybody to see. Roll it.
This sandwich costs $38. But it was worth it. One more bite. I'm done.
Look at me, I'm a big fat slob.
Hey guys, real quick, we don't have any sponsors for today's video. If you'd like to sponsor the next video and help support the channel, there is a PayPal link in the description box below. And I will say your full name as a sponsor of said video unless stated otherwise by you. Ugh.
That's fucking disgusting. Oh, I'm gonna throw up.
All right, next up. So this fella is going to tell us what it's like to get mansplained to as a trans woman. Roll it.
Explained to a lot, which is insulting to do to any woman, but I'm trans, so it's like, what do you think I just knew shit and then forgot? Putting on a skirt's like getting kicked in the head by a donkey, apparently. And here's a very controversial take. I'll forgive mansplaining sometimes. Like if we're on a date and I'm shooting pool and you come up behind me like, let me help you aim, ooh, I'll pretend I have no motor functions because I'm having fun. But if you're just yelling at me how to play Smash Brothers, some incel 2 inches from my face being like, Jigglypuff is actually overpowered, shut the f*** up.
What the f*** are you talking about, man?
All right, guys, we're going to be wrapping it up with this C-SPAN clip of U.S. House Representative Pramila Jayapal. Now, there was recently a bill brought to the House floor that said if any illegals, if any non-citizens of this country got caught drunk driving, they would be deported immediately. However, Pramila Jayapal and the vast majority of her Democrat colleagues voted against the bill. I don't know why, but that's not really what I'm highlighting here. This is a 4.5-minute clip. I'm only going to play the last minute of it. Listen carefully to what she says at the very end. So typical, so typical. Anyway, guys, things are clearly getting crazy out there, so please take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Till next time. Love you guys. Peace. Roll it.
Are we really saying that we think the best use of our very limited federal government resources is to work on deporting a green card holder who decided to sleep in their car rather than drive home drunk from a bar? A green card holder not trying to drive drunk, just trying to stay warm? I certainly don't think that's a good use of our resources. It's certainly not a good use of our time on this floor. But my colleagues on the other side of the aisle have made it clear that they're not interested in sensible solutions, just in sensationalism. This bill is another example of that. And I hope my colleagues will stop referring to people as illegals. People are human beings. They have different statuses. Some are undocumented. If you want to say some are illegal, but let's not call human beings illegal. Tired of that language. I urge my colleagues to reject this bill, and I yield back the balance of my time.
What the hell did you just say?
And I hope my colleagues will stop referring to people as illegals.
Oh, don't give me that liberal bullshit.
And you ain't black.